Have you ever felt lost, searching for a guiding light in the complexities of life? Imagine, for a moment, standing on a mountainside, the air crisp and clear, a vast landscape stretching before you. It was on such a mountain that one of the most profound and timeless messages ever delivered was shared. A message that has echoed through centuries, offering hope, wisdom, and a blueprint for a meaningful life. This is the story of the Sermon on the Mount. Picture this, a gentle slope overlooking the Sea of Galilee. Great crowds had been following Jesus, drawn by his teachings and the miracles they had witnessed. They were people from all walks of life: fishermen, farmers, scholars, the rich, the poor, the healthy, and the sick. They were all seeking something more. Seeing the multitudes, Jesus went up on the mountainside. His disciples gathered close, and as the crowd settled, a hush fell over them. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Then, Jesus began to speak. His voice, calm, yet powerful, carried across the hillside. He didn't start with complex laws or harsh commands. Instead, he began with blessings. "Blessed are the poor in spirit," he said, "for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." He was talking about humility, about recognizing our need for something greater than ourselves. It wasn't about material poverty, but a spiritual one and openness to receive what God has to offer. He continued, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." In a world that often tells us to hide our pain, to be strong and stoic, Jesus offered a different perspective. He validated their sorrow, their grief, and promised comfort not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. He was saying that it's okay to feel, to be vulnerable, and that in our deepest sadness, we are not alone. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. This one can be confusing. Meekness isn't weakness, it's strength under control. It's about being gentle, patient, and humble, not asserting your own will at the expense of others. Jesus taught that true power lies not in dominance, but in gentle strength, and that this quality would ultimately prevail. And what about hunger? Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. This is a deep, soul-level craving for what is right, for justice, for integrity. It's a desire that goes beyond our physical needs. Jesus promised that this profound hunger would be satisfied, that our longing for a better, more just world is not in vain. His words flowed on, each a pearl of wisdom. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. It's a simple, profound principle of reciprocity. The kindness we extend to others creates a world where we, too, can receive kindness. It's about forgiveness and compassion, choosing to see the humanity in others, even when they have wronged us. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. This isn't about being flawless, but about having sincere and unmixed motives. It's about an inner clarity, a heart that isn't divided by selfish ambition or deceit. When our hearts are pure, our vision of the divine becomes clear. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. In a world so often torn by conflict, Jesus elevated the role of those who build bridges, who mend relationships, and who work to create harmony. Being a peacemaker is an active role, a divine calling that reflects the very nature of God. Finally, he spoke to those who face hardship for doing what is right. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. This was a radical idea. He was telling them that standing for truth and love might not always be popular, but it has an eternal significance that far outweighs any temporary suffering. After these blessings, known as the Beatitudes, Jesus gave his followers a new identity. "You are the salt of the earth," he declared. Think about salt. It preserves, it adds flavor, it makes a difference. He was telling them and us that our lives are meant to have a positive, preserving influence on the world around us. But he also warned, if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? We must maintain our integrity and purpose. Then he used another powerful image. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Our lives of faith, love, and integrity are meant to be visible, to shine brightly for all to see. It's not for our own glory, but to illuminate the path for others, to give them hope. Let your light shine before others, he urged, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Our actions should point people not to ourselves, but to the source of the light. Jesus then clarified his purpose. He hadn't come to abolish the old laws, but to fulfill them, to reveal their deepest meaning. He went beyond the external actions and looked straight at the heart. He taught that anger is the seed of violence, that looking at someone with lust is a form of adultery in the heart. He was calling for a radical inner transformation, not just outward obedience. He challenged conventional wisdom. You have heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person. Instead of retaliation, he taught a radical path of known resistance and proactive love. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. This wasn't about being a doormat. It was a powerful, non-violent way to break the cycle of revenge and expose injustice. Perhaps his most challenging teaching was this: you have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. This is the pinnacle of Christian love. It's easy to love those who love us back, but to love those who wish us harm, that requires a divine strength. It's a love that seeks the good of the other, regardless of how they treat us. This, Jesus said, is how we reflect the character of our Father in heaven, who sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous alike. He also spoke about our motivations. When we give to the needy, we should do it secretly, not to win applause from others. When we pray, we shouldn't make a public show of it. Instead, we should go into our room, close the door, and pray to our Father who is unseen. It's about the sincerity of the relationship, not the performance. It was during this part of the sermon that he gave us the model prayer we know as the Lord's Prayer, a simple yet profound guide for communicating with God. He talked about worry, a feeling we all know so well. Do not worry about your life, he said, pointing to the birds of the air and the lilies of the field. They don't sow or reap or store away in barns, yet God cares for them. Are you not much more valuable than they? He asked. Worrying can't add a single hour to our life. Instead, he gave a clear priority: but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Focus on what truly matters and trust that your needs will be met. As his sermon drew to a close, he gave a simple but profound rule for life. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. This golden rule is a universal principle of empathy and respect. He warned about the two paths in life: the wide gate and broad road that leads to destruction, and the small gate and narrow road that leads to life. The easy path is not always the right one. He cautioned against false prophets, telling his listeners to judge them by their fruit, by their actions and character, not just their words. Saying you are a follower is not enough. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Finally, he concluded with a powerful parable. Anyone who hears his words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. When the rains came, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. It did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But anyone who hears his words and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. When the storms of life came, it fell with a great crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority, and not as their teachers of the law. He spoke with a clarity and a power that resonated deep within their souls. The Sermon on the Mount is more than just a historical speech. It is a guide for life. It is an invitation to a different way of being, a kingdom of humility, mercy, and love. Its words are a foundation of rock upon which we can build our lives, a light to guide our steps, and a source of hope that endures through any storm. Thank you for joining me on this journey back to that mountainside. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to our channel for more content that explores these timeless truths. May we all strive to be the salt and light he called us to be.